This is Sparda's World Podcast, episode 57. Your host, Sparda 3G. And boy, the song brings a lot of good memories. And it's funny because I know a lot of people here have watched the anime Digimon first on Fox TV, Fox Kids, if I recall correctly, what was used to be. And then it seems to turn to 4Kids TV, and I think it's not even here anymore. I don't recall. I haven't watched Saturday morning cartoon, if it even exists. But anyway, let's get back to the whole Digimon thing. I know a lot of people has first watched Digimon in English, in American dub, with all those inserted lines, those fart jokes, whatever they have. It's a lot of new dialogues coming from straight up from United States. It's something that Dragon Ball Z has done before too. I guess they still do it now with the redub, but I digress. So hearing this song, I know this song, I did not hear this the first time, of course. The first song I hear, it was the America US intro. Yeah, it's kind of redundant, but anyway, the US intro, I remember hearing that, and it brings back memory. But for some reason, the Japanese version, the Japanese opening of the very first Digimon adventure is something that I really, really, really remember, and I really love hearing that. In fact, I remember hearing the news about Digimon Adventure Tribe being announced. The first thing I did was going to YouTube and search the Digimon opening Japanese version, and then hear that and actually blast the music aloud. It's so engaging. It's so nostalgic. I know I'm supposed to be blasting the US intro, but it is a memory too. But it's the Japanese one. It's something about that Japanese version. I remember having a full version of that song. I still think I do, but I remember hearing that so many times because I was like, wow, this version is so much better than our version. It's really hard to believe that on April 3rd, the Digimon Theme Singer, Kouji Wada, he passed away at age 42 due to cancer in his upper pharynx. It's hard to believe because not only he died so young, but the fact he just come out from the Digimon Adventure Tribe. I don't know if you guys have heard the theme song of Digimon Adventure Tribe or watched the show, in fact, but he has sang those songs, and it felt like everything just came back into a full circle from our childhood all the way to our adulthood. Because not only the direction of the series, but just everything in general, the theme, the settings, the characters, the song, everything about it. And hearing the theme song, when I first heard it, I felt like I was just hitting back to my childhood. I felt like I was a child once again, just banging my head or rocking my head, waiting for the new episodes to arrive. It's like this anticipation that I had back in Saturday morning cartoons. It's such a great memory to hear that. Yes, I know the US intro is supposed to be the one, but it's the Japanese version that I've really found more than any other intros that came out around my childhood. It was just so captivating. I just love that theme song. I still have that theme song, and I play that often. And unfortunately, I play that more often than before because of this tragic story. The fact he's only 42 and he passed away due to cancer, which I know a lot of people here have already familiar with. The celebrities, the singers, the famous people, the people who we know, or just in life in general, dying by cancer. And really, I so much hate cancer, and I really wish there was a cure, but of course, it's something that cannot be found, or something that we're still searching for so long. And all this, they died because of the cancer. Their cancer is the only way, not only way, but it's like the something that is unavoidable, inevitable. It's just, I hate the fact that it has to be cancer. I hate the fact that cancer could come around at any rate. I hate the fact it could take a person's life at any age, and it could be a very young age, such as 42. And Kouji Wada, we just heard a song, and now it's like we have another film from Digimon Try. There's supposed to be the third one, if I believe. The third film, yeah. We're in the third film, which branch out 4 episodes. We don't know if we're going to hear the same theme song or we're going to change it up because of the passing. I know they have to bring a mention to this story because this story was very heartbreaking, to say the least. It's just that, I cannot believe that I'm more of a, I guess because it's been so long when it comes to like anime manga related. It's been so long that I see a passing that actually have them involved with this kind of work. And he's still around. He was around at the time, and he was doing the theme song. He could have been doing more of a different variety version of the theme song or anything else for the Digimon series itself. But now he has passed away. It's like I could see that a lot of people in the studio, Toei Animation, anybody who's behind the Digimon Adventure Try, so heartbroken about this news. And when this news broke out, it broke out like 2 days later after his passing, I believe. I don't really recall, but when we heard this news, it's just we couldn't believe it. When we heard cancer, we can only believe that because cancer has been awful. It's the worst thing that could happen in anything, in life itself. If hearing like cancer is just so we lost a really memorable and a nice fella, Kouji Wada, just because of cancer in the upper pharynx. And the Digimon Adventure Tries is going to continue, of course. It's just really heartbreaking to hear the song and him not being around, and him not being able to see his work he has produced in terms of music. I know they have to do some tribute to him because he has been with Digimon for so long. He is pretty much, you could say, an icon for Digimon ever since the first theme song, of course. And then bringing it back for this new one, the whole butterfly song, it's just, again, it's depressing to even hear the song if they actually continue it. I mean, of course, if they continue it, I'll be fine, but it is kind of sad to hear because it's like you're hearing it from a person that has just recently passed away, and it's, you just wish you could hear more from him before his passing, and you could hear, different kind of theme he could put out or anything he could be part of, participate in like a convention or something, but that's now in the past. So rest in peace, Kouji Wada. Thank you for the memory, thank you for the nostalgic, and thank you for everything. So on the brighter news, well, I have to bring this up because I know a lot of people here actually do read this series. I read it actually, but I don't have that much a good memory of it. But the series I'm talking about is Vampire Knight. Yeah, apparently it's getting I believe a sequel or a spinoff. A sequel or a spinoff. I don't know which is which, but it is getting a new manga, and that's shocking. Maybe not too shocking because it is very popular. I noticed that it has a lot of popularity. I guess you could say this is the shoujo equivalent to Naruto. I can't say Bleach anymore. I can't say One Piece because that's too giant. But I guess you could say it's like a Naruto equivalent. And, I can see that from what I heard of the mangaka, did not have that much of a good success with her recent work. So maybe she went back to doing this one, but a different take of it. Of course, if it's a sequel or spin-off, whatever the case may be, it's going to take place pretty much from the synopsis is pretty much taking place before the ending, since the ending had a major time skip gap, I believe, and it's, if you ever read the manga, it's something else. That's all I can say. It's something else. Not a big fan. That's all that I could tell you. But they announced a sequel, they announced a spinoff. It sounds like it's going to take place like the second last chapter to the last chapter, or the last chapter before the time skip, a huge gap of time skip, and then they just explain along the way whatever they want to do. Maybe not explain, but more just exploring the relationships. It is shoujo, it is something romantic, so I'm assuming we're going to see something like that. Yeah. I would probably briefly check it out. I know somebody really liked the series, or liked in the past tense wise, because she hasn't even finished the series. She hasn't even finished reading the last third of the series, and believe it or not, the last third of the series is where a lot of things just make you scratch your head and just go, what the, so that's just my opinion, but I do believe that she stopped for this kind of reason. Not a lot of popular series is actually good, realistically. Sometimes it can be good. I mean, it is subjective. It is opinion based. If you find the series to be great because of this or that, and you don't like the series because of this or that, but hey, it's everybody has their own opinions, and my opinion is just this is what I can think of. Netflix. I have Netflix, of course, watching all these movies lately, seeing some anime, see how they do it, see how the quality holds up, and now they are actually doing something big in terms of anime manga related, and they're doing something very persuasive of them, and they are in talks. There is a talk that they're in the final negotiation, if I recall correctly. I don't know if anything changed as I do this recording, but I know they're doing a talk, and I know they're like already getting prepared with the director, and I guess they got the main character, the cast, for at least for the protagonist. But what our series I'm talking about is Death Note. They are officially doing, well, not yet officially, but they're very close to do a Death Note live action film. That's right, a live action film. The Netflix is going to produce exclusively on Netflix. So I guess Netflix are really going to try to have people subscribe these Netflix thing. Just subscribe them, because they already got the original shows. They got plenty of original shows. They got stuff from Marvel, stuff from original itself, stuff like a series that had once canceled and now brought up here. It's I guess it really works. I remember back then I felt like it's gonna be like, why would you do that? And it kind of forced people to try to go for it, and it actually came successful. Well, if you don't like their Monopoly game, I guess you got no choice, but you have to suck it up for it. But then again, you know how you get your own ways to get your own sources, as they say. But regardless, Netflix does come out of a success business with this whole original shows, original movies, and now they're going to do a Death Note. I don't even know how popular is Death Note in America. Actually, I do know it is popular, but man, is it that popular? It's seriously that popular. But regardless, they are going to have a final talk, or they're in a final talk actually. I don't know at this time, in this recording, that the negotiation pulled through and they actually are going to make the live action. I don't know if that is confirmed completely, but they do have the director ready, Adam Wingard. That's the director. I did the movie The Guest. I'm familiar. Sorry. And I'm more unfamiliar with the casting of the protagonist. At least that's what they believe it is Nat Wolff. No idea. I even look at the search. I don't know what series I have watched from him, or movie, if that fact. But hey, if it's good, then so be it. When I watch it, I don't know. Maybe if the movie come out a disaster, it would have Japanese crew will be like so upset they will make their own movie, their own TV series. They will probably have a Death Note 2. Look what happens to Dragon Ball Z. Oh, Dragon Ball Evolution was so horrible. Let's make our own Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's bring the Akira Toriyama to do it. Or Godzilla. What is this debacle? This thing is horrendous. Let's bring back Godzilla for our own and make it into, and if America want to dub it, they could call it Godzilla 2000, I feel like it's always a revenge moment when we do something wrong. So maybe if we do something wrong with Death Note, then maybe they would come back and they'd be like, let's make our own Death Note again, because they already did live action series and a live action movie. So I don't know if they want to do more of that. And maybe they want to do a sequel, Death Note 2. What if Yagami Light, what if he lost the first time around? Something, I don't know. But, yeah, I want to see how that's going to work out. I'm not going to have high expectation, of course. And, well, we'll see. Adaptation, minus comics series, the track record has been so-so. And finally, Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, the anime that the Studio Dean anime in winter 2016. Yeah, for the manga wise, it's actually coming to an end and is ending on June 7th. So the series itself is coming to an end, which only brings me thinking, I believe the second season, when Studio Dean's announced second season, whatever year or month season, hopefully they will make a second season in fall. My best guess, and hopefully, my best guess is that they're going to end the series completely. Especially they announced the second season, so it's like, you're not second season, and they announced the end of the manga a while back. It said they actually announced a while back that it was going to end it around summertime. Now this one has a confirmed date, and that is June 7th. So there you go. In that case, I will like for them to actually finish the entire series in anime form. That way we have a completed anime, it's just a completed animated series, rather than like, oh, you want to find out more, read a manga. Those advertisements, that's anime's job as well, but sometimes you would like to see the anime actually complete the series just as much as the manga itself complete the series, or any original source. So hearing about this, I'm going to guess that the second season is going to end the series, and that would be great, because the series rules. This series is really, really good. So good, it's so underrated at the same time too, because a lot of people have attention for something else, something too easy, something too pleasing. But with this series, well, granted, this series has its own audience. It has its own target audience that really, really can fit everybody. Bills, but hey, if you really take your time, you actually find yourself a really engaging story, engaging characters, and engaging, just everything about it. It's just emotional attachment, and it's so good. It's something you really got to see. So hearing this story, of course, the manga has to end. They already announced the ending a while back. And, the fact it has an ending is a good thing, because, you don't want it to drag it a long time. And it already has its own, stop, timer. When you look back at the series, it already has its own set. But regardless, hearing about this ending only makes me think the anime will actually have will have the same ending as the manga as well. It won't be like that whole thing that everybody likes to do lately, or at least A1 Studios does. Hey, A1 Studios adapted this, we gotta finish this manga right now at this rate. They do that lately. It's kind of cool, but at the same time a little troubling, because it felt like, is the manga being rushed because the anime is going to end the same way or similar to that? It happens many times lately, and it's just, I don't know, maybe because the timing feels odd, or maybe the timing is just too very convenient. It almost made it seem like the anime is forcing the manga to rush the ending, just get to the point, hurry up, blah, blah, blah. And then there you go. Now the anime will be original. Will be connected to the original rather than it will be original ending, such as Bones always doing with every other anime, or some anime do it themselves, like Blue, like I know Exorcist or Blue Exorcist in that case, Soul Eater, and so on. It's something that where people are not a fan of, and I can understand that. Still, maybe it's just convenience. It's just sometimes it kind of bothers me hearing the manga is going to end around the time where the animes are still going on. It's a little bit troubling. And then the anime of that season is going to end the manga as well. I don't know. But whatever. Either way, I just want to see this in a completed form. In anime, it's great to hear they make a second season. It only reassures that even if it's not popular, even though I don't know if it sells a lot, I don't know if it does, they're still going to all the way to add that this series and complete it in animated form. So I'm happy for that. And it was, spring season so far has been going well, actually. I still feel like the summer season is where it's all is at. But hey, spring season is not looking too bad anyway. So I'm going to keep on following and then probably have some series that probably going to just binge watch all the way and probably just talk about my thoughts on it and my podcast channel. But we'll see how that's going to turn out. Either way, it's actually pretty going well. What is that? Is that the same thing that we saw from the recent series? Is that Naruto? Is it? No, it's not Naruto. It's Fairy Tail. We're in chapter 481, and I'm hearing this a lot of talk about Fairy Tail with Naruto connection. Once again, I know these two are the popular series in America. I know these two series are popular themselves and worldwide. And I know that's the most talked about, at least in the top 10 category of the manga and the anime, and to my knowledge at least. I don't know why, but this is the one I always hear the connection between these two. And this chapter does not help me. It doesn't even help me not to break the connection, but there is a connection to it. Mainly the revival part. I mean, look, a lot of series does this before. This whole revival thing, the fight your own enemy again, fight your own loved one, but as an enemy due to revival thing, whatever. The whole concept of bringing everybody alive, because we're almost at the end of the series, so everybody should have a good development. It has that kind of moment. So of course, the Fairy Tail is no exception, and for a chapter like this, I guess I could say I'm not too affected badly, but anything could happen, and hopefully it doesn't go that crazy, the crazy way. If we're gonna compare to Naruto, I hope it doesn't go that crazy as Naruto. But for Fairy Tail, it seems like all the revival is just the usual thing. Some of them are, I wouldn't say necessary, but some of them are just going to be harmless and just going to involve with the loved one, and some of them are only involved with the one the one that's already established enemy, and I don't think they're actually for redemption or anything like that. But if they are, then it's kind of similar, but it won't last long anyway. So other than that, this chapter itself was actually a good chapter. At least to me, I thought it was a good chapter. I like the action. I kind of a little afraid of the anticipation that's going on, as in how this is all going to end, especially with Urza being involved, so how that's all going to lead to. But maybe this is a little bit different, especially how the way the chapter is formatted. I think it's going to be a little different. Maybe we still hear the friendship speech, yada yada yada, but as long as they could try to back it up in action, I could deal with that. But I just don't like where it's you could say that and all of a sudden all that power up just come out of nowhere and then it's an easy win. That I'm not a fan of. That's something we all familiar with Urza. But hey, the way how this arc is going, a lot of things could change up a bit. And again, with the whole revival thing, I guess we had to get to the chapter review right now. So let's just get to it and we'll talk more about it. Historia. This is Nayahard. I think that's how you really say the name. This is Nayahard's specialty. His magic. I'm going to say her because the way how his design is funny, because his design is obviously like one of those designs, those pretty boy designs. The something that least expected with the very dark magic that we see now. This Historia is being used of the heart of a person, and then actually project the image, project the emotions of that person, and his or her loved one, the connections. So it's like, hey, I notice you really love your brother, so I'm gonna to project your brother, and here he is. So, for example, Kagura sees her brother, Simone, from from her heart, and Jiao thinks it's illusion. There's no real about it. But the thing is, they actually project the entire emotion, the personality. You could really just say he brought the souls back. It's like, okay, so Simone, I'm gonna bring that soul back, project it from the image you have, and voila, here he is. Especially if we're going concerned with the later scenario, I guess that's really the case about the whole. It seems like bringing back the souls and everything, and the way how this Historia works is using the dead. Then, in fact, the chapter title is pretty much just says Historia of the Corpses, which pretty much it's not only going to be with these guys, and it's rightfully so. And Historia seems like a broken magic. I mean, just think about it. There's no repercussion, at least not to my knowledge. I don't think there's any drawbacks yet. I don't think there's anything that's stopping him to abuse this power, this magic. And I don't know, how far can go. It seems like the range is all the way within that same area, the same the northern area or whatever they're in. So it seems pretty damn broken. I guess that's why Nayahard has been kind of a bit of a hype up, even if he was in the shadow in the first time. But you get the idea that this guy, this guy is pretty much all trouble. Again, Kagura sees her brother. He was about to say, I'm pretty sure he was about to say, you have gotten strong, grown, whatever. And she's heartbreaking, but Jian tell her, don't fall for that. It's just illusion. And then he has to do his rescue bid, because I guess that's how he always has to work out in every case of the scenario. Or not only that, but he has to do his usual thing, get knocked out, get something bad happen, and let Urza just try to handle a lot of work until he gets back up. If not, let her finish the entire work herself. So this is no exception. She falls down with Kagura as the explosion was about to end Kagura or knock her out pretty badly, and he took the most damage. So that leaves Urza try to fight Nayahard. But before he even do that, he ended up using the Historia on her, and then this is where you get the idea, hey, look, we're at the very end of the series. Why? Because we're starting seeing the old enemy that she has defeated, starting with Ikuruga, which I would say I didn't even know she killed her. I guess that's the established. I mean, at first I thought it was just a projector of anybody, but then later on you get the idea it's anybody who has died. Anybody who has anybody who has died and is just brought back and from whatever their history of battles they have. So Ikuruga is among them. I wasn't even aware she killed her. I seriously wasn't aware. And then we got Azuma. I know she killed him. She killed him. I guess this is the fight. If you ask me, this was the fight that everybody pretty much established. Hey, this Urza is just too much. I'm tired of this bullshit. So this is the fight that a lot of people have started to say. This is the fight that had me saying it, at least. And this is where I was like, enough is enough, and then it never gets better, unfortunately. But hey, maybe here it will be better. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know. And then we end up seeing Kyoka. So 3 battles, three enemies, 3 former enemies, all together going against Urza as Nayahar just chilling, and and then he decided to go, why not just do it to everybody, not just Urza, just everybody, whoever's in my region. And that's where he started to spread. Almost looked like we just saw an Edo Tensai. But here's the difference. It is based on the person. It is based on what they have in their hearts. What is their mindset? What is the history of a battle? What is their connection? So everybody who was brought back to life has a connection, which, it's at least it's separated from the way of just having everybody revive, as long as you have something. And even though some of them are very forced, some of them are very questionable. It's just exactly how much DNA you have contained from your lab. Even if there's a character that seems like you really care about that character since when? That's why I'm talking about Naruto, because it seems very, it's just wacky, the fact that this character has so many DNA of every character. And then when I say every character, I mean every character that's not even that strong or is not even that important. So why even bother getting them? It just seems very very coincidence, convenience, all wrapped up in one moment. With that said, at least the fairy tale thing is sensible in terms of magic. At least, at least it's coming from some idea, which is pretty much the whole emotion, the heart of a person, the people's heart. At least that is coming from there, which that's understandable. So everybody's being revived for this time being. We got Uru, the teacher of Gray and Lion, coming back. So that's, to me, that's going to tell me that is going to give some focus, a good amount of focus. I can see a development. I can see them telling them, hey, look, we're stronger than before. We're stronger than ever, Sensei. something down the line of that, which I don't mind. And we see a lot of other people that's coming back from the dead. A lot of enemies from Tartarus Arc, Zenkro. And then we actually see Hades, which, by the way, Laxus got the worst of luck, because that's where Hades came about, around where he's at. And he's already not really in the best shape. Hopefully they don't do a huge ass pull of something that he would just come out of nowhere and just beat Hades for God knows why. But and the thing is, these enemies seems like they are in their their peak form, I guess. Whatever they are, they're strong. They're not like we're only 25% of a user, unless Nayahar really says that in the next chapter or so. But hey, when we saw the whole Urza thing, and it seems like it was definitely 100% dumb. Everything about her, the powers and everything. I don't think they will go overboard unless Nayahar could do something about her. But right now, the case is that everybody is brought back from the dead. I don't know why Shonen liked this idea. I don't mind bringing back to dead. What I always mind is where a lot of dead who has been, dead, if they die in a historical way, or if they die with a bang, and then they come back to life, and then they're kind of erased that. That was the problem. I know we're comparing Naruto, and I don't want to bring up Naruto into this discussion, because this separate series, everybody has a separate intensity. But since we are all in the whole talk of that connection, you couldn't get away. I know, Naruto's not the first, it's not the last, it's not an original idea, but since everybody's talking about it, I'm just going to say one thing. I don't like when they just ruin the death of something that came off from a bang, and there's no real long-term plan, like, we have this person revived so they can see this different view from his standpoint, and it's something a lot of characteristic. But instead, they always like, I want to get a good ending. Oh, so that's my son. Okay, that's great to hear. You're doing fine. I'll leave. I don't like that because it just seems like everything is just too easy, goody two shoe, and a lot of tragedy that happened at their end. It has to remain that just to tell us the series can be very cold, just to tell us the world can be cold. But instead, everybody's like, there's always a second chance, and everybody can always get redemption. So it was blown overboard with Naruto. So Fairy Tail, at least they try not to establish that, hey, look, this enemy wants redemption. I mean, the only one I could see is the whole Gray situation. But hey, he's not fighting Silver. If he was fighting Silver and he knows Natsu's end, you know how much that would annoy me, but hey, at least I'm trying to avoid that. At least this one would be a little bit understandable. It could be good. It can go well. It might not be that long, but hey, at least it will be something good out of it. I'm hoping. So by the end of the chapter, Kagura, in the middle of the chapter, Kagura had the opportunity to leave Jiao on the ground, on the bottom of the sea. He was knocked out from that explosive, and he had like the steel pipe all on top of him, so it's basically much harder for him to get out with a low strength of his. And Kagura was struggling, should I leave him there or not? And of course it's going to go down to that, no, I'm going to rescue him. It is time for him to live, and it's time for him to get up and fight. I don't know this is established development for Kagura. It's a step up, definitely, because Kagura always have this hate for Jiraiya, for what happened to Simone, her brother. But I don't know if this is a permanent development, as in like everything is bygone, under the bridge, water under the bridge, whatever how you say it. I don't know if that is the case yet, but it is a step up. And sure enough, the chapter ended with a CPR. And I don't know if there's supposed to be no chapter next week. I could be wrong, but if there's true, then that's one cliffhanger. For everybody has to fight their enemies, their loved one this time around. It's the usual concept, but I wouldn't mind so much. I just hope it doesn't go overboard with it, but we'll see how that's gonna play out. Yeah, well, that was a good chapter. I thought it was a good chapter. Like I said, it had a good action section. I don't know if they really trying to plan to do the usual Urza thing, but I feel like the Mashima is taking this as we need these two, Kagura and Giotto, to get back on their feet because we need them to help Urza, and we need to balance it out, everything. If that's the case, then that'll be fine. We don't need to deal with somehow Urza pulled through with an amazing comeback, because the whole Tartarus arc was just too much for me. So with maybe this one, it would be much balanced and much acceptable, at least in my book. But hey, it was a good chapter itself. I thought the action was neat to see. There's a lot of possibility, yeah, but hopefully some of the possibility doesn't happen, as in like, every bad guy gets a redemption, because why not? And we'll see how this gonna plays out. Enough with the comparison with Naruto. Again, it's not the original. Naruto's not original, but it is definitely the most popular to even do a comparison. And I could understand that. It's just everybody has their own ways, and everybody has their styles of bringing this plot formula. And it make it something either new, fresh, or maybe it could be a dud. But let's see how Mashima plays this out. Oh man. Oh boy. If this is not the last chapter, because we're going on the breaks very soon. I think it's next week, but this is not the last chapter, and thankfully it's not, but I don't even know how he's gonna try to make it into a great last chapter before the break. This was great. Great chapter. I feel like this and the next series that I'm going to review, I feel like they're trying to win me over or something. I'm just joking. But seriously, this chapter, wow. I mean, like, and the one thing I always remind myself about the series is so much brutality that this series can contain in terms of the way of doing their action. Usually you would think it would be a sword slashing, the usual thing. But there's some ideas that this series I should bring up that you probably only think is only possible for something like in the Seinen series. Sometimes they would just think like a stab, quick slash, and more other things would be that basic, and it would just be like that. It'd be a done deal. But with Gintama, they always bring out some idea that could happen in any situation in the most crazy, over-the-top way, and it just seemed very I wouldn't say disturbing, but it gives me cringe when it happened to the characters that I adore, and this chapter was no exception. I guess you could say it does give away what happens, but hey, I was hoping that was not the case. Boy, I really was. This chapter has a lot of crazy illustration of how much of an impact of each moment. I believe there are like 3 pages that is used just one big panel, but all of them has a great impact, and especially like the second version. The second version made me go like it gave me shivers. And it's funny because I know I read a lot of series that's even gory and stuff like that, but the way how it's done, it just got me shiver. And it's just like it almost has that sense of like screaming no in the top of your lungs. I mean, I didn't scream no, but I was like, oh crap, like, but man, this chapter was great, and it left with a big cliffhanger that could lead to anything. It could lead to what we think it is, but anything is possible because now we're getting to the climax with this whole Yato family situation. Alright, so it does a recap of the last chapter because, Soichi actually does this before. He likes to do this, and you know what? I like it too. I really like this direction he always has been doing for a while, especially when they put more depth to it, and it doesn't really. You could still somehow get a lot out of the chapter, even when you've done the recap for almost 3 pages of a chapter. But it add more depth to the moment. It add more emotional impact into the moment. This one was more of a Umibozu delivering the final present to Koka, as well as Alboto doing monologuing one last time about the dragons, because that was the whole idea. We see 2 dragons fighting each other. One dragon just keep on going because he is immortal, as the other dragon has a limit, has the end there. However, in the end of the day, the dragon actually has a lifespan rather than the other one is immortal. The immortal is the one that has become a normal human being. The other dragon is the one that is taken out by a mere mortal dragon. And I felt like it was a fitting way to monologue that moment, a fitting way to go in a full circle, a fitting way to conclude the idea approach about the 2 dragons storyline, and it's nicely tie in with the entire situation. You get that sense of feeling that this guy was really taken down. This guy is really dead or anything like that. I mean, I didn't think he was dead, but it has a nice sense of feeling that this thing is finally over, and it was short lived, but still, I like the atmosphere how they display. And the Umibozu part, we finally get to see the moment where Koka dies, and it's heartbreaking because especially where he comes in and remember Kamui has already left, which is already sad enough for the family. Kagura is in tears because her mom is going to die, was about to die in any second, and that's where he approach to her, whole hand, which we find out he was giving her the Altana. I think that is how it went, right? Like he gave her the crystal. He gave her the crystal at that moment, right? Yeah, and Coco smiled one last time and she just dies. It's sad because you only have one word that came from Kagura, and a monologue from the present of Umibozu saying like he finally delivered that present after so long, and it's again heartbreaking because you got Kamui leaving the family already, and then you have Kagura breaking into tears, seeing her mom die, her mom die, and Umibozu, which of course deeply loved Koka, and then he finally came back with a crystal, even though it will not really revive her or keep her alive for a long time, rather just prolong the death, and unfortunately she just dies. It's really sad, and this family is very tragic when it's all said and done. Umibozu, the guy who's deemed the strongest man in the universe, doesn't feel that strong when he loses a family, when he loses somebody he really cherished. Kagura, at the time she was weak. She felt weak. She felt like she can't do anything. I mean, she tried, but she's just so young, and she's in a bad place. Kamui, his mindset is really, really screwed up, and this chapter really established that heavily more. But again, his lifestyle has been tarnished. Koka just dies because the concept of an Atana from another home planet, everything just felt like a tragic, just one downward spiral. It's just, oh man, I really didn't think we were going to get this amount of backstory with the Yato family, and I really applaud to Soichi to give us this many, and I really, really enjoyed this. It's still sad, but it's just how it is. It's not concluded yet because we're not done with Kamui, but the flashback again, this whole thing is just upsetting, and it's hurtful to see this whole moment, and it doesn't help that one page later, Usoro is actually still alive, coming out looking like a Titan style, but man, that illustration displays nothing but terror, nothing but horror, and nothing but no hope. It's just scary as hell to see that panel. I even uploaded that image into the Tumblr. That is my image because I thought that art was really good, but the fear, the demonstration, the terror, all coming back all in one page. And is striking out like, how did he live? At first I thought it was the one that died, and he just stands up, and for some reason he ends up looking like a Titan, or okay, realistically he was regenerating, which I got the hunch that was the case, but I was wondering like, wait, regenerating? If that's regenerating, from what? He's died. I mean, it's not like half a body just like exploded. And then that's what I found out. There's a reason why the chapters has been emphasis on that arm, the broken arm, the one that was ripped off from Umibozu in the first chapter of their bout. And now it all makes sense because that was the key. That was the key that Usoro has been planning for a while. He put everything into that arm, the Atana. His life source doesn't work by destroying the heart, the head. I mean, it could work with the heart still, but it has to. But the Atana power source has to be in that body. It cannot be anywhere else because it can still live if you transfer it to anything else. It could be a part of my leg, and I could just leave it there as me trying to fight with one leg, and then is the reason why we never see it's the reason why, it's the reason why Usuro was so casual to do that. Even he said it like, I know about this already. So if that was the case to be that simple, hey, I would not be around. In fact, I won't be that desperate to see, hey, you could kill me. So for Usuro, he put everything into that arm as the other body, the one that we have been following, is doing all the battle. And then once he gets killed off, the arm regenerates, and that's where he plans a surprise attack, which we see in the most brutal way of possibility, because Umibozu still have a sword stabbed through his body. So from the backside, just imagine this, from the backside, he grabs that sword and decided to continue to, and instead of pull further to make the damage even worse, he makes it much worse by actually slash through it from the sword position where it was stabbed at. And not only that, but it take his arm away. So now he has no arms. And the way how that one page shows how brutal this guy can really be, the savage he is. It's just that display of that body getting slashed pretty much halfway when you really think about it. His body is slashed all halfway through, and Usuro pretty much going to retreat because he used all that energy source on that arm, and it's already depleted, so he can't really fight. He can't really continue to fight. Otherwise, if he continue to fight, there is a bound of moment that he will actually get killed off because he needs Altana. It all relies on that, which is sad because now he's going back. It would have been perhaps the perfect opportunity for Gintoki and everybody to take him out. It would be the only time because he's in a more weaker state. But now he's going to regenerate and everything has to start over, which is not good. But again, that page of the brutalities, man, that hurts. Like not hurt as in Umibozu getting hit. I mean, look at that. That's just close to death situation right there. But just seeing that image just haunts me. It's like, damn, I didn't want this to happen, and now we see him on the ground, pretty much seem like he's already saying his final will. He's already saying his final wishes because he is going to die at this rate, and I was hoping that was not the case. He can still live. Maybe some magic happened, but he's really going to die here. I like how he established that he has sacrificed one arm to throw away the family and the other arm to protect that family. It came into a full circle. It came to a balance, and it's so sad because I don't want to see him to die. I was still a little bit upset that the anime did skip the arc where he acts like a fatherhood along with Gintoki, which is pretty funny as hell. But now, they can still animate that, but either way, I still remember that chapter dearly. I still remember the Christmas chapter with him. I remember a lot of chapter with him. He has been a really cool guy, a really cool character, a really cool father. Soichi does give him a good amount of development, and I really adore all those developments. I really like his relevance with the family, his connections, everything, how much he has grown from the first time we saw him, and now he's about to hit the bucket and he's about to die. And to make much matter worse, we have Kamui, who is pretty much out of his mind at this point. To me, he's really gone his way, just doesn't get it. I mean, he's seen his father on the ground, and he remembers how much he was like an icon, an icon to defeat. It's one of those, like, you see your superhero and they're on the ground. You either feel sorry for that person or you actually feel like very disappointed because, sometimes your mindset really wants you to think that person is the strongest person in the world, and you don't want to see him on the ground unless you are the one to do it. And Kamui was so pissed off, and it's pretty much you could actually say that if he was not around, Kamui pretty much just doesn't have anything else to live for, because you remember, one was to throw away a family and protect the mother, and the other one is defeat Umibozu, or rather kill Umibozu, to establish he is the strongest. So if one life goal is about to end because Umibozu is about to die, but Kamui will not accept that, and Oboto, which is, this character has been really good too. With this character, is just telling him enough is enough, and it's crazy because we all remember Oboto being a part of the gang already, so he's already a bad guy. And this bad guy has more remorse than Kamui, who is a guy who had a life of a good guy, a life of a normal child and everything, but now he's all corrupted to the point that he seems like the top of the villain chain. Is crazy. And then seeing him charging, Oboto's like, don't do it, stop already. And Kamui's just out of his mind, like, oh my god. And seeing Kagura telling him to stop is just even more breaking. I mean, that facial expression just tell him stop already. It's like this guy is really out of his mind. And thankfully, Gintoki shows up along with Shinpachi. They finally show up, and that's where the chapter ends. Right there, another page, but that impact, like, yes, he's here. I swear, this series is gonna make me like a kid again, just being so cheerful to see the heroes coming, like making me clap, looking at the Saturday morning cartoons, just go like, yeah. In fact, there's this bobblehead moment from Boku no Hero Academy of Anime. Now it seems like they're trying to make that into a meme or one of those things that, like, are you so hype up? Like, yeah, that bobbing the head. I feel like that when I see this moment like that. Great chapter. It's just, oh man, it's a great chapter. The next chapter, it could be the last one before the break, or if I get the schedule right. I hope I do, because I don't want to make a huge mistake. I'm gonna start keeping track on those. But anyway, this chapter was great. A fitting conclusion to a lot of things. Not conclusion to Umibozu yet, because he's not dead yet, but he's getting there. Now we're going to approach to the conclusion, the climax, to be more exact, the climax of the Yado family, with Gintoki around, Kamui being focused one more time, and Usoro is already heading back, which not good news, because that means the home planet is about to get destroyed. The planet they're in is about to get, destroyed by him and his army. So, and a lot of things is going head into that one epic proportion of this arc. We'll see how the next chapter is going to play out. Are we really going to have Gintoki versus Kamui? It looks that way. Anything is still possible. Maybe Gintoki find out that Usoro is still around. Maybe he would chase him, or I don't know. But then again, that would defeat the purpose. That would defeat the purpose of what Gintoki is trying to do. However, Gintoki's purpose is to reunite Kagura. So that is different. That is a different story. But we'll see how that's gonna play out. Funny how this one get a reunion. Again, the next series I'm reviewing now, well, not now, almost now, almost coming, but the next series, it seems like these two are going head to head for me. It's like, yeah, they're fighting over me. I'm kidding. But seriously, what a great chapter. So much looking forward to the next one. If there is a break, what a bad timing to do it on me. I gotta say, this chapter was short, but should I really be mad about that? Nothing wrong with short chapters, to be honest with you. But sometimes, a week wait can really make a person a little upsetting, because they really want to see what's happening next and everything about it. But even if you do not have to wait with a volume version, it actually come out very acceptable. I think that effectively happened more with Bleach, in my opinion, and it actually comes to somewhat to redeem itself, though there is some other pacing problem. So with this series, why is it that I'm not mad? It's because it's a series title? It's because I'm being biased? No. Realistically, this chapter was short, but I thought visually it was great. It was a great chapter because it surprisingly is a build-up chapter to what's going to happen next, especially with the preview. Is pretty much indicating we're not switching. We're not going to Root Island, which, by the way, what's up with that? What's going on with that part? I don't know yet, but hey, I could wait. I could just see what's going to happen here first, and then we could switch over. I don't know what's Ishida mind game here. I don't know what he's planning to do with all the focus going with Kaneki in first place rather than doing it after the Root Island. It's not like we're going to hear Root Island been doing rage. It's not like we're hearing CCG doing Raging Demon, aka off-panel attack on the entire Ogiri leftovers, but I don't think that's the case. So why we're focusing a lot of Kaneki? Because I don't know. There's a plot. There's a plot reason, and we're going to find out very soon. I'm my best guess, unless Ishida's really going to just off-panel the entire Root Island invasion. But I strongly doubt that. I feel like there is a big plan that we just have to wait. Regardless, this chapter is like a build-up, at the same time a very heartwarming, very depressing, at the same time hopeful, or at least hopeful. I've dropped my phone. Hopeful, maybe a little bit of hope, just because what happens between these two characters. This chapter, it gone by fast, and I can see why. And it's really hard to describe the entire chapter in voice audio recording. It's just, you gotta read it yourself, or more like look at it. Now, the redeeming part is the art. The art, I feel like it tells a lot of story. It's not a quiet chapter, no, but it's a story that really has a lot of art to do the demonstration. Has a lot of art doing the telling of the story, telling of a character, the development between these two or any one of them. It's a reunion that we have waited for years and years, or maybe it just only had almost 2 years, but. Either way, we waited for so long. They have reunited before, but, under different circumstances. But this one is a true reunion where Kaneki is Kaneki, with his memory, knowing everybody what he has helped, as Yomo, Touka, Ayato. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's up against. So seeing this is finally it's finally a moment that we could all, sap there, sapping around. See, just feeling awe because we finally see a reunion, even though the time has to cut short, which is understandable because the situation they're in is obviously not a good time to try to talk it out. And especially Arima is no guy. It's not a guy that's going to wait around just like, hey, let's have a bit of reunion. And Arima doesn't have a tendency of a James Bond villain, which they would do a lot of talking, even though you have the perfect shot to kill the guy. He actually ran against Kaneki with no hesitation, which is pretty upsetting if you ask me, because that's something that I really just realized, and I realized it like the third time I read it, but because I was just awestruck just to see what's really taking place with Kaneki actually reuniting for a short while, but just the fact that reactions, Yomo couldn't believe it. Touka has a lot of reaction because, it's very telling, especially the first time around. Here's the thing. Well, I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to go over it when we get to the Touka part. But let me get to the whole Arima thing. Arima has no chills. Actually, that's the people who like to say it. But he has nothing to hold back. He's really going to kill this guy just because. He's just heartless, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard to read Arima, which makes it pretty interesting to even find out who is he. Unless he just get killed off, then that would be just a kind of weird take. But I don't get what he wants. I just don't understand. I can't read him. I just can't read him. I guess that's what happens when you're an emotionless guy. But yeah, he attacks Kaneki very hastily, and even Kaneki knows he's not he just goes straight for the attack, huh? So it just pretty much just no like, why did you betray me? Well, you're a CCG, there's nothing like that. It's just, all right, you're a bad guy, time to die. It's pretty sad because after all that, that's what Arima thinks first, just kills. Then Kaneki tells Ayato, which thankfully, thankfully Kaneki already understand Ayato from the beginning. That, Ayato is not really too evil. He's not like vicious. He's not like like a bad guy. He's not completely in a black area. He's more of a gray area because he is doing it for the benefit of helping people. He has a heart there. He just have a lot of issues going on. He's just hot-headed, I guess you could say. Touka knows this. Kaneki knows this. Hinami knows this. So at least Kaneki could trust him in this form, and he telling him they gotta go now. And it's just a shame because I felt like that was the only chance to take down Arima, but Banjo made it clear. Banjo was running towards Hayato location, and they know the time is against them, so that means they have to get out. There's no time to let's double team, let's quadruple team Arima. We could take them out. There's nothing like that because they have no time. They really have no time. If they close down the area or the CCG, if the CCG block the entire area, pretty much surround them, then it's over. They're done. All of them are going to die. That includes Hinami. So it's best to leave, and it's best to leave Kaneki to do the job because he is part of the CCG, or was a CCG member, and he's the one that's going to take the sacrificial limb. Now we get to the part where everybody was so happy. And, it's funny I could manage to talk about a lot of things here, but, this Touka and Kaneki reunion, this is the main highlight for everyone, me included, because not just the pairing's sake, but just the emotional attachment, the emotional display, these characters, these arts, really it should have really put a lot of effort in these arts, a lot of facial expression, a lot of details in every form of way. It's pretty, really, really great art in this series. But in this one, it does a lot of storytelling. Here's the thing. Now let me get to what I want to say. Here's the thing. Kaneki, he's not a Jesus. He is not shown as a character that could be like, oh, he's here, that means we're all saved. It's not like how Dragon Ball series. It's not like when you see Goku, everybody's like, yes, Goku is here, we're all saved. It's not like that. Nobody has that mindset with Kaneki because everybody's pretty much human, as in realistic form. Nobody really sees that way. Nobody sees like he's Jesus. Nobody sees like a savior of the universe or anything like that. Something you get to see in shonen. Not every shonen, but some, like Goku from Dragon Ball, Naruto from Naruto. You get something like that. But with Kaneki, there is no such thing. Otherwise, we would have Touka smiling the first time she saw Kaneki. The first time. Let me repeat that. The first time. Not the time when you say the later part. Not the farewell part. No. Talk about the first time. Because if she was smiling, then she already knows. If she was smiling, she already knows that, Kaneki got this. Everything is all handled. It's the same thing. It's funny because it's kind of similar to with Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail did that not so long ago when Natsu wakes up. And Lucci's like, oh, you're finally awake. Have a good night, a good nap. And she, it felt like everything is all rejoiced. We're going to win this now. It's like a savior. Kaneki never has that present. And Touka never felt that present. Nobody felt that present because Kaneki is Kaneki. What the present that she really felt is like he has discarded his human lifestyle. He has discarded his once in a lifetime to be happy as a human, and now he has saved, protected ghouls from the CCGs. It's all too late to go back. It's all been discarded. His way of living as a human free guy from the ghoul universe, I guess you could say that, is over. So now, Touka didn't smile the first time. All she has is like I can't say it's disbelief, but you could tell she was not all too happy. It's the same thing with Hinami, where when Hinami saw Kaneki breaking her out, you would think Hinami would be like, oh, you're happy, she's so happy, but realistically she was so torn between happy to see him again, but more of sad and angry that he has thrown away his life, just throwing away his life, his once in an opportunity to be happy. So, Touka pretty much got the same thing, but it's not, she doesn't break in tears because she's strong. She's very strong. She's very, how her character is. And it really connects to that. Now, the second time where she finally calls out his name is where a lot of things gets very awestruck for the fans and me as well, because she hesitated twice. She sees the surroundings. She sees the atmosphere. And what she sees is that Kaneki put himself in a grave danger position, especially that everybody, Ayato, Kaneki himself, Hinami, all around from the beginning of the series, that Anima is pretty much a Grim Reaper. Once you see him, you're done. That's game over. You can't beat him. You can't win against him. So everybody established that. Now, she knows that Kaneki is going against the unstoppable force, and immovable object even. So her seeing this is pretty much give you the idea that, it's not like, again, Kaneki was never established as a god, as a Jesus figure, not as a savior, like once he wakes up, oh, everybody's saved. It's nothing like that. Instead, she knows that what he's in right now is in a bad position to the point that he can die. He might die, or hell, I would just say he will die here. And that's where Touka said the name twice, because, you don't know what's the best way to, what is the first thing to say after so long. And for her is, I'll see you later, okay? And Kaneki just got shot. Like, not shot literally, but he got shot in emotional degree. You could see that. You could see Touka. Touka never started to smile. You gotta remember that. Touka never started to smile. She smiled here because, I guess, for lack of a better word, you could say she was being optimistic about him coming back to her and the rest of the gang, the Teku, or now Ri, but to come back. And hopefully he will come back, because the situation he's in seems a very slim chance of him surviving this. So Kaneki, awestruck by that remark from her and her smile and everything. And as soon as they turn away, her smile is gone. She's pretty much, she don't want to think the negative thought, and she can only hope for the best that Kaneki does come back unharmed, come back, alive and well. And Kaneki, he felt so damaged by that words, and he pretty much, I wouldn't say curse her out, but he's pretty much like, well, you're the cruel one. You're the one that has to be the one to tell me this. And he's broken into a small tear, which tells everything about the story. It used a lot of panels. It used a lot of big giant panel. One big panel, double spread. It used a lot of them, but when you read it yourself, you could understand the emotional connection between Touka and Kaneki, which, by the way, I had to mention about the chapter cover. Very clever of Ishida. That whole chair and Touka. The whole thing about Kaneki and the chair as well. This whole thing is funny. It feels like a full circle. Because if you read chapter 120 back in the first series, Touka was by herself. And that was the moment where Touka, I think it was 120. I could be wrong. But it was a moment that Touka was by herself. There was no supporting from Kaneki, because Kaneki has separated on his own. I know Kaneki means well, but at the same time, he does not mean well, because he is keeping himself too much of a lone wolf guy. But at that time, and then that's where they have a confrontation, and they, of course, Touka beat him up because of all of his wrongdoings, his stupid decision, everything about it. Now we finally see the chapter cover of them two, and they feel like it's been reconnected. But at the same time, not so long, because Kaneki is planning to die here. And I still hope he changes his mind somewhere down the line, but he is planning to die here with a bang. He knows that what he wants to do is to die for them. He wants to die for them so they could escape. But you can see the tears that he really, really wished there was another way. And he really wished there was a way to go back. And there was a way to not to really break their heart. But this is no choice. He has no choice. This is his way of decision. This is his only way to redeem them. Again, you got to read the entire chapter to see the connection. To see a lot of display. And it more continues on in the follow-up part where we see Ayato and Hinami finally reunited. And, I never see Ayato being so sincere. I don't know. You gotta refresh my memory, but I don't remember him smiling so fondly when he made Hinami. And I know a lot of people are like squealing kind of with the idea of Ayato and Hinami might be, could be a thing in the future, but I don't know. I'm going to give it, now they're reunited, I'm going to give it time to see. That tells me, yeah, they are going to be a thing, or they can be. I mean, there is some hint from Ayato and Touka even saying, like, you got to start protecting her and stuff like that. And you never know. But I do like the fact I see Ayato being happy. Again, he's stubborn, but he's not a bad guy. He's just he's just trying to find a way to fit in the right crowd, And then when we got Touka and Hinami, this one, it was sweet. This one's really sweet, and I really like this. It reminds me of the first series as well. Seeing these two finally reunited for really so long when you think about it, but they reunited, and then Hinami was like, could not believe that she's seen Touka. Could not believe that after so long they finally meet each other, and Touka felt like he was gonna smack her or something, but instead he did a hard pinch to her cheeks and pretty much telling her she's silly. And Hinami just could not hold it, but breaks into so much tears to see his sister Touka once again. It's really sweet. Again, the art does a lot of storytelling, and it's a lot. Again, it has to use a lot of panel, but it's really fitting. It really connects you with these art. And that's why I cannot really be upset about this short chapter. Not like I really get upset with short chapter. I don't really get upset with those. It's just that I can see why I don't really get. I can see why what Tokyo Ghoul does right when it comes to like use a lot of panels for art. It really demonstrate a lot of storytelling. You know how they say the picture worth 1,000 words. This one is pretty much with that. It really got that entirely. It gets that. Tokyo Ishida gets the idea of that, and I really applaud for this chapter. This chapter is really visually great, and then we get to the final part, which again it tells me that this is actually a build up for this epic round 2 of Arima and Kaneki. And Kaneki went to Kaguya. I believe he went to Kaguya. It seems like it's more stronger than ever. And remember, he did eat Ito body Kagane back then. So maybe this one is maybe this one is like a completed or a brand new one or something. A remix, I don't know. But it's going to be insane next chapter. Next chapter is going to be nothing but hype. It's going to be all or nothing, do or die. It's going to be insane. Now, let me get to the little bit of prediction. I don't know if everything is going to go well with Hinami, Touka, Ayato, and Yomo. I feel like seeing the setting of that disposal, what was the place called? Disposal compactor. I feel like that when we see the setting, I feel like there's going to be something taking place. People suggest Furuta might end up showing up there. And now, if he does show up, that confirms that he's not human. He's a ghoul. Because he got stabbed real badly, and a human being should not recover that fast. So, if he does come back, that only tells me he's a ghoul. But that leaves more questions, but let's save it there. But I feel like something major will happen to them, and it's not all over yet, which sucks because, I really want them to be over already. Kaneki's situation is just scary right now. Can he defeat Arima? I don't know. Maybe he can because the weapon, his Quinke, is broken. It's not completely destroyed. It's not unusable, but that's the word. It's not really malfunction already. It still can go on. It still can shoot or anything like that. But if Kaneki can break it completely, then he has the perfect chance. Because Arima without Quinque, maybe he won't. He won't. He'll be very vulnerable. Unless Arima knows boxing or MMA fight, he just started kicking ass with his bare fist, and Kaneki just get up and hold him down. I don't know. Or unless there's an umbrella nearby and he would start kicking ass with an umbrella. I don't really know. But then again, the troops are coming down to where Arima is at, so they might pass him a different Quinque to fight him, I guess. And who knows? Anything is possible. Is Arima really going to die? They've been hyping up a lot with this character. They've been hyping up about him being unstoppable, him being so much focused in this chapter, this arc itself. So it's possible he could die here, but I don't know. Maybe I feel like there's too many mysteries still surrounding with the whole thing, especially with the whole garden thing. I don't know what's up with that, his connection. He has his own manga series for a moment. The Tokyo Ghoul, not Jack. Jail? Was it Jack? I don't remember. I think it was Jack. But yeah, he has a lot of momentum. And here he is still undamaged. He has no damage to his body, anything about it. So is he really going to die here? I don't know. Is Kaneki really going to die here? If Ishida really... Oh, it's Jack. It's Tokyo Ghoul Jack. Maybe if Ishida is really going to make a new character, a new protagonist, not like, hey, that's look like a new protagonist. Oh, wait, that's Kaneki as a Sasaki. Why? But who knows? I don't know. Supposedly after this next week, after next chapter, it will be on a break due to the double issue. So... expect a very, very heavy cliffhanger. That's what I'm expecting. I don't know what could toss me away. I don't know what's going to make me mind blown. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just want to read this chapter and get over with because I'm a little. I just don't want nobody to die here. I don't want no one to die. I want everything going to be normal, but I feel like the idea of normal escape just doesn't fit to Ishida repertoire. It just doesn't fit him. Damn it. Alright, that will do it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. There's a double issue coming about. There is that whole week of a holiday in Japan, and that would mean that we're going to have a break. And that implies to the podcast as well. But won't be next week. It will be the week after that. Maybe. Because I'm trying to fit the schedule. I'm trying to understand the scheduling. If there is, I believe on this week, there is a chapters. There are chapters for every series that we all follow. But then next week won't be no chapter. If that is the schedule that I've believed in. If that is the schedule that I follow, at least. I'm only getting from other people's sources rather than like getting the main source. I can be wrong. Now, I will let you know in the very beginning of the podcast of the next week's episode. But if there are no chapter next week, then the next week episode will be one last one before that week break, and that following week won't be any podcast episode as I will take a break because there won't be anything to review. No Tokyo Ghoul, no Gintama, no Fairy Tail. That said, if this chapter Fairy Tail that I just reviewed is the last one before the break, then next week we'll probably just have only 2 manga to review, which will be okay. That's okay. Now, if it's the other case around, like only Fairy Tail and no other 2, I won't do that because I would just have a break on that week and just let it be. But hey, you can always follow me at Tumblr to see my thoughts on the chapters and other series that I really don't talk about here, but I do follow those series as well, and I do talk about them in the Tumblr post. And you can always ask me a question about it. So do follow me there. I always post a link in the channel, the link in the every episodes, and yeah, just follow me and hopefully we get some acquaintance. All right, that would be do it for today, and let's see if I'm right about the schedule. I can be wrong. I gotta get my sources done, but I'll let you know the first thing in the podcast. So until then, I'll see you next time for more Sparda's World. Take care. Want more of Sparda's World? Subscribe here today. Every week of Tuesday, a new episode releases, bringing you the latest anime manga news and reviews of the latest chapter from various series. Plus, there are extras at any time of schedule that discuss other topics, including first impression, final thoughts, and many more. Subscribe today, and I'll see you next for more Sparda's World.